Hey there folks, my name is Kern. Welcome back to my channel. This is update 3 on what I'm calling the Great Blizzard Bank Heist. I would like to thank you for dropping in for an update, and I wish I had much of an update to offer. I kind of don't. Blizzard has yet again let another week go by without any updates whatsoever. We'll come back to that in a moment, though. There also hasn't been too much that I've seen community-wise, so if you see people making noise about this, please, please, please link me in my comments. I really want to sort of keep up to date on what other people are saying and that sort of thing. That would be really appreciated. I did want to talk a bit about the fact that we don't have an update and what that means. If you look at this thread, this is the US thread that I've got here on the screen. 38,000 views, 24,000 likes, 519 users. It is currently over a 10-hour read. Over 3,136 posts. Well, not over, but like over 3,100 posts. And then if you add in the EU, you have another 5.6 thousand views, 1.3 thousand more likes, another 112 users, another hour to read. Now, bear in mind that this is like the English forum. There's probably other people talking about this in other language forums. I haven't actually gone looking. I speak French and a little bit of Italian, so I could probably figure something out. Maybe we'll do that for next week. But I wanted to say that, like, combined, this is 44,000 views, 25.5 thousand likes, and 631 unique users. Well, probably unique users. There might be people from the EU that made an account on the US and vice versa. I don't imagine it's that many people. So there's like over 600 users that have posted in this thread, in these threads. And we're not getting any news. So let me tell you what I am doing in order to get news. The first thing I did was today, which is October 14th, 2024. I wrote to, I believe her name is Rebecca Valentine, who wrote the IGN article about this, like a couple weeks ago. I got an out of office reply. She will be back in the office in the next couple of days. I'm hopeful that she'll write another story about it. I said, this is still ongoing. We still don't have word. It's been since September 20th that we heard anything about this from Blizzard. And so, there are still lots of questions in the air. If you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to answer, that sort of thing. So that's the first thing I did, and I'm hopeful that we'll get something out of it. The other thing that I did, and I don't recommend doing this because it's like a long shot, and we don't want to be too rude. I'm Canadian. Let's be cool about this. I wrote to their public relations department, and I'm like, yo, what up? I explained very politely what was going on. I linked to the thread. I explained that there wasn't any other details shared and that we have lots of questions. And I outlined those questions, and I'm like, do you have any like formal comment on this? Because I'm covering this on my YouTube channel. Haven't heard back, but again, I sent that today, October 14th, which is Indigenous Peoples Day or Columbus Day, depending on your state. And it's also Canadian Thanksgiving. So I don't super think that anybody's in the office desperate to write to a YouTuber / player who had the gall to write to the PR address. Like I said, don't do that. We want to be polite about it. We want to be respectful. That said, I'm trying here to get some sort of response. So if you've seen other responses, if you have any information, if you have anything to share with me, please do so in the comments. I'm reading the vast majority of them. It is so hard to respond to everybody, and it's a little emotionally draining because so many people are telling such stories of loss that it's really hard to get through. But I am persevering. I do have a full-time job, which takes up a lot of time. So I am slow on the responses, but I am reading. So thank you. I did want to say that I was clicking around the forums and I did find this from, I guess that's September 26th, 27th. So that's a couple of weeks ago. Veritable says, is this to say the official word is that the matter is closed? And so Rakthris, and this is on the US forums, says that the official word on it was posted in the general discussion forum by community manager Linksy, which Koze linked below. I nor customer support will have additional information. This is not something that we can assist with. I find that interesting. No, they can't assist with it, but I would like more communication? Question mark. This was posted in the customer support forum in the US. So I guess it's just not a customer support issue at this point. It is like legit a dev issue, and they're not paying attention to their customers. They're not trying to get us to calm down. They're just dead silent, which to me speaks volumes. So I started thinking about our options, right? What are our options when it comes to this sort of behavior from Blizzard/Microsoft? The first is to unsubscribe and don't give Microsoft any money, which is way easier said than done for a lot of different reasons. And I'm not going to say necessarily what you need to do and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. Make your own decisions. We are all presumably grown-ups or close to it. So make your own choices. Do what's right for you. For myself, I think that I need some sort of resolution. And I think that will come in one of two ways. Either we'll get our stuff back, which is the ideal resolution, or we'll get Blizzard to say, you know what? It just wasn't worth it, our time, to fix this for you. And either way, once I get that, I'm going to leave. That's just me. But like, I've put this game down for years at a time. And, I've outlasted a lot of the original devs. I've outlasted Mike Morheim, for crying out loud. I could foresee myself putting it down for quite some time until Blizzard changes its answer, or the developers and higher ups, more specifically, have changed such that they actually pay attention to their customers. I could see that. If they give us our stuff back, I would probably stick around. But a lot of the trust has been broken with me. And like I said, that's me. And I'm not advocating anything. Having said that, there was lots of talk on the forum in this particular thread about canceling subs for like lots of people. Like if lots of people did it, that'd show them, right? And so I did a little bit of digging. Microsoft, because Blizzard is wholly owned by Microsoft, Microsoft has a fiscal year that runs from July 1st in one year until June 30th the next year. That means that I'm doing math. That means that they have just finished their first quarter of fiscal year 2025, which was July, August, and September of 2024. their earnings call where they report their earnings to their investors and shareholders, of which I am one, actually. I have a handful of Microsoft shares. They'll be reporting their earnings for that quarter, I believe at the end of this month. So that's in a couple weeks. That will reflect data only from July 1st until September 30th. Now, that means that will include much of the sales of the War Within. So any sort of drop in subscription that we see in those 3 months, and bearing in mind that this whole issue happened in mid-August, that's like 6 weeks within that quarter, which was primarily the War Within stuff. Like, I've seen people coming back who haven't played for years, who have bought the new expansion, all of that stuff. So, like, I think any drop in subscribers is going to be way offset by the revenue brought in by the new expansion and an increase in subscriptions. So, if we want to see this make any kind of effect whatsoever, the ideal time would be to stop playing in October, November, or December, anytime before December 31st, so that that loss is seen on next quarter's earnings, like the quarter that we're in now. I'm not saying that it's going to be a blip, and I've got Microsoft stuff pulled up and I'll show it to you. I'm just saying that if you want your cancellation to count, it's going to be October through December where they're going to be able to see a decline, because up until like the end of September, it was all War Within, and that's going to muddy the waters. I can't wait actually to see the earnings. Having said that, their earnings are not particularly detailed. So I went looking at their earnings releases because they are a public company. They have an investor relations site. You can go all the way back to 1996 and pick your quarter. I wanted to pick out this, and so Q3 of 2024 and Q4 of 2024, which is my next tab. I wanted to bring those up just to show you how Blizzard is sort of integrated in this. So if we look here, we see that the cost of revenue increased $2.4 billion, or 15%, driven by growth in Microsoft Cloud and gaming. More personal computing revenue increased, driven by gaming. So gaming includes World of Warcraft and Blizzard properties. So more personal revenue increased, driven by gaming. That means that that's the category we're under. We're under more personal computing. And their growth was driven by Microsoft Cloud, which is like Azure stuff, and gaming. So that's the first 3 months of this year, January, February, and March. Operating expenses increased $1.4 billion, or 10%, driven by gaming, with 9 points of growth. I'm not sure what points of growth mean, from the Activision Blizzard acquisition. What I read into this line is that they had to dump $1.4 billion more into gaming, largely because of Activision Blizzard, because they needed to, for whatever reason. Okay, so that was January, February, and March. Then this is the metrics, not the performance, but the metrics for April, May, June. So you can see here that they break it down to commercial, productivity, more personal computing, and you can see here Xbox content and services revenue growth. And that is where we end up, such as Activision Blizzard, right? So this is revenue. And so this column is Q4 2023. So that's the previous year. And it was, it looks like it's higher than it was that year. This is the total for fiscal year 2023, minus 3%. But then we come over to fiscal year 2024. I'm not really sure how they're doing this, but 50%, I'm guessing growth because there's no negative in front of it. I'm not super familiar with how all of this accounting goes, but big numbers here are generally good, one would presume. I don't understand what the slash is. It might be year over year stuff. Like that's what it's saying here, right? So we'll see. But basically they got a lot out of the acquisition is what I'm reading from this. And I don't think anyone would argue that. But then I wanted to see how detailed can we actually get? So I hate that I'm in officeapps.live.com, but here we are. So you can then see all of their financial data here. You can see their income statements. You can see their comprehensive income, their balance sheets, cash flows, segment revenue, etc., etc., etc. Unearned revenue, like I don't even know what that means. It goes all the way back to 2016. Yearly income statements. So looking here, we don't see a breakdown for gaming. Somewhere in there, presumably. So I went to the segment section. Not the history. I want the segment revenue and operating income. So this is unaudited. For the 12 months that ended June 30th, 2024, more personal computing, which you'll recall is where World of Warcraft fits under, gained them, are you ready for this? $62 billion. I had to look at that again and be like, what? Because it's in millions. So 62,000 millions is 62 billion. What? I'm like, is that possible? And yeah. So like they make hundreds of billions of dollars a year. I knew that they were a very, very large company. I may have been unprepared for seeing such a large number. So somewhere buried in the $62 billion that they get from more personal computing is World of Warcraft. This is why I don't think that necessarily quitting is gonna show up on their radar. Kind of like a blip. I mean, bear in mind, these are aggregate numbers. These are numbers that have been smushed together from all parts of the company, right? And like, I mean, we've got the cloud, we've got more personal computing, we've got productivity and business processes. Like if you have to use Outlook and stuff at work, then that's in productivity. The fact that I am using a Windows computer, which I will never buy again, that's productivity. The fact that I bought my nephew's Minecraft, more personal computing. It's part of the gaming. So I don't know that it's gonna really be a blip on spreadsheets like these. However, I do feel confident that those numbers have to come from somewhere. They have to come and be aggregated. So like they have to call the financial dude at Blizzard and be like, hey dude, what What do your numbers look like? Give me your numbers for, WoW, for Hearthstone, for Overwatch, for Diablo, blah, 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 blah. And it's in those numbers that we don't have access to that they will see any kind of a dip. We won't see that because I don't think we're gonna cost them $1 billion in business if we all cancel, unfortunately. But I did want to bring this up, and I did want to show you what it looks like at the macro Microsoft level with regards to earnings and stuff, and how anything we try to do probably won't make a bit of a dent here, unfortunately. That's not to say that a dent won't be visible within the WoW numbers themselves, but we don't have access to those. So how effective your quitting is? Questionable. How effective my quitting is? Also questionable. That said, do what feels right for you. If this is it for you, totally get it. If this isn't it for you, totally get that too. I am not necessarily advocating anything either way. Okay, I've blathered on quite a bit. Please let me know if you have any updates from any community sites. I've written to several of them. Only one of them posted anything, and that was Blizzard Watch a couple weeks ago. But the other ones that I've written to, niente, nothing, nada. And obviously Blizzard doesn't have any other statement at this time, but I'll let you know what PR has to say, if they say anything. But at the time of recording, we had yet to hear back from Blizzard. I guess that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to make some noise out there. Be polite. We're not going to get our stuff back if you're yelling your head off at someone. If anyone has any contacts at Blizzard that they would like to put me in touch with, please let me know. All right. Thanks for watching. And I'm here to keep fighting, to try to find a resolution for this. Thanks so much. We'll catch you next time.